considering you're more than 30 years in the field, Cathy, and that it would be very interesting to know really how many hours, how many days, how many workshops, some type of quantification of all the work that you've done to inspire forward the concepts of service learning, and before that, community service, engaged community service. Right. I'm wondering if you can just share with us an idea of how many states you've worked in, or
Sure.
cities, and how many hours you've really put into this work.
Hours would be impossible, but I do know in the early days, around 87 or 88, I did check, because I was concerned with my family. I had young children. I didn't travel nearly as much, but in about 86 or 87, put on 30 days of conferencing on community service and service learning around the country, even then, which really is quite a lot. Now I'm on the road about 120 plus days a year. I kind of stopped counting at 120 because it's little more than I can handle. But my daughters are grown and out of the house, and my husband's a good sport and comes when he can to exotic places that we like to travel to. So it's a tremendous amount of work. And then on top of that, the writing I do. So some people ask me, when do I sleep? And I don't know the answer to that question. I know one summer I did count, and it's not unusual in the summer for me to put on 10 or 11 three-day institutes for service learning around the country. So I do a lot of professional development. I think it's critical. I do often do 1 days, but I love when I can go in and work with the community over time, because that's when you see real growth. So very often I establish a relationship. But what I'm seeking to do through professional development is building the local capacity for people to keep that going, so that we're not just relying on outside consultants, but developing the capacity from within, those teacher champions who are just great. And so I'm always on the lookout for who's the teacher champion at this school and how to create a professional learning community to move it forward. So we really want professional development to be something that grows, but then grows capacity of other professional development providers. That's really key. That's really important to me, is to, as much as we can, remove the reliance. Now that we have all this digital technology too, I've been able to do some professional development long distance. I had great fun doing a series of webinars for a school in Bombay. So that was quite fun, much less expensive than the airfare. So you can do professional development now in many ways, though I still think up close and personal is the way to start to really build those relationships and understanding of the key concepts. Well, you also said how many states. I think I've been on the ground in 32 states. I've presented in about 8 or 10 countries, or maybe more. But I've influenced people in all 50 states, and I've influenced people in over 50 countries who come to conferences and events. So it's been larger.